Welcome for our presentation today about our S4 journey. And Daniela and we would like to guide you through our S4 journey, and we would like to focus on three items which were important during our message and our transformation. And first, I would like to introduce a bit of Cerdia, our company. Second, we would like to show you key aspects of our S4 journey. And the third item would be a summary of our key learnings. Before we go into the technical things, I would like to explain briefly about Cerdia. So we are headquartered in Basel, and we are a global manufacturer of filter tow and cellulose acetate. We have about 1,100 employees worldwide, and we have an annual revenue of approximately $750 million. And we have a unique footprint. We have 2 flakes manufacturing plants and 3 tow plants over the world. And we have about 20% of market share of filter tow globally. Now I would like to go into the technical aspects of our journey, and I would like to start with our application landscape. If you look on the top left side, you see our landscape which we had 1 year ago. We had an ECC system, and I used the picture of the Golf 2. So the Golf 2 is a very good car. I had one. It's a good car, but it's a car from the last century. Around this ECC system, we had several third-party systems and also Cerdia-specific applications which were built on the Microsoft stack over years. And furthermore, we have also an MES system in place, which was also part of our ecosystem around SAP. Now we analyzed with our management how we can develop Cerdia further and how we can grow into the future with our IT landscape. And we came to the conclusion that we need to enrich our core and make the core ready for the future by shifting the core from a Golf 2 to Golf 8, which means in SAP terminology, move to S4 RISE platform. And our key was that we said, let's keep the satellite infrastructure as it is, adjust the interfaces to the S4, and ensure a smooth go live by this approach. So our migration approach was really to focus on the core go live, keep the things which were good, although we wanted to approach also kind of simplification, but we accepted deviations wherever beneficial. And with the private cloud approach, we could also keep some of our Z codings to make this journey happen. And the interfaces, I mentioned them before, were very crucial because we could keep a lot of our processes as they were built over many years, 20 years, and therefore we could limit the scope a bit. And this was also the impact for a compressed timeline for the go live. Last but not least, we involved our business because we always considered this journey as a company transformation project. It was not a pure IT migration. And when I prepared this presentation, I spoke with our S&P project manager, Matthias, and he asked me to explain a bit our project organization and PMO scope, because from his opinion, this was also one key of our success, because we had a very organized and structured organization for this project journey. I would like to start on top and point out that for the Cerdia management, this journey was seen as a top priority. We had regular updates of the management on a monthly basis, and this was important all the time to have the support and from the management. Furthermore, we had a Cerdia core team in place which consists of business people and also Daniela and me. So we had a very close alignment with the business about our journey, and the key value streams participated in the core team for the finance process, O2C, but also purchase to pay. And they took also ownership about their processes of the whole journey from the early beginning. So very important as well. Then we had further value streams in place, for example, quality, decommission, and they were combined in a value stream approach, and every value stream was also part of this journey. And the value stream leads, they took over their responsibility in a later stage for the project, for the test plan setup, but also for the cutover planning, and last but not least, also for the data validation, because the data in the end belongs also to the business, and by this approach we had the full support also from all value streams. Beyond that, the external partners were also very important, and we had a very close alignment with all partners on our journey. And we had also dedicated counterpart from SAP throughout this journey, which was also very important to have the technical support from the RISE team as well. Collaboration via Teams and Calm sounds logical, but was also very important that we had a common platform for all project stakeholders to support our journey, and to organize the test and defect management via SAP Calm, which came along with our RISE platform. Then we had the Cerdia company. All employees were also informed on a regular basis about our project, about our journey. So this was also one key element of our success. Then in the next step, I would like to show our timeline and the project plan. Here you can see the timeline as of 24, but indeed the project started approximately 6 months before, mid of 23, where we analyzed how we can develop our landscape further. We had discussions which ERP system might fit best for Cerdia for the future. And as we came from R3 ECC6, it was no surprise that we came to the conclusion that S4 platform might fit best for us. So beginning of 24 in the Q1, we started to make intensive plans for the S4 journey. And as of April, it became very concrete with the contracting of our partners. We started with S&P to develop the project plan, and we also had intensive collaboration with SAP to derive our BOM for the move to RISE, and to analyze what kind of components we would like to use from SAP. Finally, in June, we had the contract signature with RISE. So in parallel, the platform could be prepared in RISE for our journey. With S&P, we had at this time already the discussions about the selective data migration, and we see the milestone selection files end of September. But the road to come to these selection files was very intensive, and the business had very close alignments with S&P about the data selection. In parallel, we had also the activity to prepare our processes, and I mentioned before that we had the approach fit to standard, but we accepted deviations as well. So this took place in parallel, that we prepared our customizing for the new environment. In October, November, I think this was a very intensive phase at this time, because we prepared our infrastructure. The RISE environment was fed with the customizing, and also finally with the data of the TM1, the test migration 1. So we brought every component together, and we had the TM1 data load testing and functional testing all together end of November 24. And for the business, this migration was at this time seen as difficult, because the people have expected more. They expected something like a UAT processes ready till the end, but they weren't ready. And S&P always told that the first test migration will not be at 100% of the data quality. So we worked in the December and January phase to improve our data selections, and we improved also our customizing work with the satellite systems and our processes. So in February 25, we had the next phase, the TM2, which was split in 3 phases. We had first the data load verification of the TM2. Then we had a small, short functional testing period. And when both components were tested successfully, we went over to the user acceptance test, which took place by end of February 25, where we had 2 weeks very intensive user acceptance test with our end users. And this user acceptance test was considered as successful, although we had small items left, but we were satisfied with the quality. We realized potential gaps, and we used in March the remaining time till the go live to work on the gaps and close the gaps for the system readiness. After the TM2 with S&P, we went over directly to the next phase. It was the GLS, the Go Live simulation, where we verified the Go Live in a last step. And for us, it was very important that we could prepare kind of playbook. What happens in our business in the Go Live? How do we check the data? And how we ensure that the data was moved successfully. And I think we had a very good alignment with the business, and we were finally also satisfied with the data. So by end of March, beginning of April, we had a go decision with our management. We presented all our preparations, and finally we got the approval to go live. And the go live took place mid of April, from the 11th till the 14th of April. We went live successfully. It was according to our planning. We had 3 days downtime, but everything was running smoothly. According to our planning, we could produce, we could sell, we could pay our invoices, we could receive the invoices. Therefore, in all affected plants over the world, we went live with success. And since mid of April, we went into the hypercare phase, where we worked on the remaining items which came up during the go live. But nevertheless, I think it went rather smoothly, and we closed the hypercare phase 2 weeks ago. Now I would like to hand over to Daniela. She will explain some technical conversion aspects of the migration. And yeah, Daniela.
Thank you. So yeah, welcome from my side. I would like to give a short overview of our project IT architecture. During the design phase, starting in April 24, we established our project IT architecture in our on-premise environment, in close collaboration with our hosting partner, All for One. Having this strong and experienced partner at our side proved for us highly valuable, not only for the initial setup of the systems, but also through the build and the go-live phases. As is standard practice in such projects, we set up a sandbox system to support testing activities. In addition to our sandbox, we established a dedicated system for the shell and one for the crystal bridge. The shell was defined in close collaboration with S&P. Utilizing S&P tools, the shell was built as a one-time activity to transfer our customizing settings and thereby our historical configurations into the RISE landscape. The shell contains no transactional data, only customizing data. An S/4HANA upgrade was subsequently performed on the shell system. During this upgrade, we faced some issues to the current customizing settings. Due to our ambitious timeline, these issues had to be resolved within a very short time frame. After the upgrade, SmartShift efficiently converted our custom code on the system, on the shell system. Through SmartShift analysis, around 60% till 70% of old custom code was eliminated. In parallel, we established our RISE landscape in collaboration with SAP, following a 3-tier architecture. Once the shell customizing was transferred to this RISE landscape, the shell was no longer actively needed. The crystal bridge was installed on a separate system and was in continuous use from the first test migration through the hypercare phase. Its scope and application depend on our customer selection and mapping requirements. Thanks to the flexibility of the crystal bridge, we were able to do the adjustments really easy and efficiently. For instance, changes in asset accounting within the valuation area caused interruptions during the first test migrations. These were resolved through a client copy on the S4 test system and targeted adjustments within the crystal bridge, which avoids an additional test migration. Thanks to the flexibility of the crystal bridge and the experienced S&P team, we were able to promptly incorporate new findings throughout the project. The system landscape requires careful planning and sufficient time, which should not be underestimated. What was the scope of our journey? What was our transformation scope? One of the most important topics for us was the selective data migration. As the company history has a long history and we have a long use of SAP, we had a lot of old and obsolete data in our system, which we chose not to carry over into the new system. Together with the business and S&P, the data migration scope was defined, validated, and refined through all test migrations. Thanks to the crystal bridge, we were able to do our conversion during the year. This added really highly valuable flexibility to our project and enabled us to successfully complete our go-live after the month-end closing in mid of April 25. There were no preceding projects. To this transition, we introduced a new GL and a business partner. During our test migration, we faced several issues related to historical data, particularly in the business partner area. In addition to the introduction of new GL, we also introduced a new asset accounting and performed some refinement of asset accounting processes. We also used the opportunity, with the help of the crystal bridge, to align historical settings and postings with the current business requirements. Several controlling areas were merged into a single one, and the same was done for the operating concern and 2 purchasing organizations. One of the most complex topics was the introduction of the group currency, as individual company codes had previously used different currency settings. In addition to all these new topics we introduced, it is important to note that not only the new topic, but also the historical data can bring some unexpected issues during the migration. So pure figures, such as the migration of 10 company codes, do not fully reflect the complexity involved. Performance considerations are not only driven by data volume, but also by technical restrictions and technical dependencies, which are not always fully transparent. Together with S&P, SAP, and All for One, we continuously optimize our runtime and put quite some effort into cut-over planning. With a total runtime from approximately 29 hours of migration time, we were able to meet our project timeline. The business plays a crucial role in the success of a data migration. The key success factors are the close collaboration and the strong commitment of all of the business experts, IT teams, and the partners. Now to our key learnings from the project.
Well, we have for sure a lot of key learnings. We try to summarize some of them, and I would like to start with the project and the scope setup. So it was very important that we were clear about our migration scope. I mentioned in the beginning our core go live, and this was very important for this compressed timeline. And also the common commitment of the internal and external people on this agreed timeline is very important, and we executed accordingly. And of course the project plan was mainly driven by the S&P timeline, by the milestones, TM1, TM2, GLS, and Go Live. So this was our storyline over the migration, and we executed accordingly. So very important. The coordination, it's important that you take the ownership of the coordination. So I would just simply say you need to drive the car. Of course, we wanted to change the Golf 2 by a Golf 8, but it's important that you drive the car, that you manage your project, and don't let it just run, because otherwise it might fail. The next thing, partner selection, always very important. Careful partner selection, find compromises where necessary, but don't avoid discussions and debates, because it's very important that you find solutions and don't postpone potential discussions, because they won't resolve by themselves. Data migration, I think Daniela already explained some aspects of the data migration, but our key learning is really that you should take ownership of your data and also use the S4 one-time migration opportunities. Daniela mentioned some of them. Very important for our finance team that they can now work in the future on the one controlling area. This is really the core for our Cerdia future with RISE, and also with the system what we would like to improve in the future around RISE. Quality sounds logical, but you should aim for high quality migration over long project runtime. In our case, it was something between 12 and 14 months and a lot of meetings in between. Might happen that the quality might decrease, but you should always try to keep the quality high for bigger things, for smaller things. And finally, you should also strive for zero defect go live, because if you have too many defects open for the go live, for sure you will get new defects after the go live, and then this might bring a risk on the successful go live. So this is one of our key learnings. Last but not least, detail matters. Very important. Never forget details, and don't postpone clarification on details, because in the end, if details are not clarified, I mentioned it before, they won't be resolved by themselves. So you need just to work on the details, although it might be difficult, but also very important. And the last key learning potentially, that you should go first in S4, in the system, especially for the key users, for the business. It's very important that they can work in the system, that they can see their new process in the system, and not too much design things on paper, on PowerPoint, because in the end, the system shows the reality. Therefore, our key learning was that the S4 system might be a bit different than the paper design work was. Therefore, very important, go fast into S4. So that's from our side. Thanks a lot for your attention. And Daniela and I, we will be available for questions right afterwards. And we wish you a nice further stay at the Transformation World 2025. Thank you.
Thank you.